I have a quick tutorial for you on AR verbs. So first let's start off talking about what is a verb. A verb is an action word, like to run, to jump, to dance, to sing, okay? And in order to work with these verbs, we need to get a little bit of vocabulary out of the way. So we're going to talk about an infinitive verb. And what that means is that it is a verb in its most basic form: to run, to jump, to dance, to sing. And in order for us to actually use the verb, we need to do what's called conjugating. And conjugating means to change a verb so that we know who's doing the action. Because I can't just go around saying, to eat lunch today, because we don't know who the person is that we're talking about, who the subject is. So to conjugate means to change a verb, and that's what we're going to work on today. In Spanish, there are three kinds of infinitive verbs. And again, infinitive means the most basic form of the verb. All infinitive verbs end in R, but there are three kinds of infinitive verbs. AR verbs, meaning that they end in AR. ER verbs, meaning that they end in ER. And IR verbs, they end in IR. Today, though, we're just going to focus on AR verbs, verbs that end in AR. So let's take a look at a couple of examples of AR verbs. I'm going to say the verb, and I'd like you to repeat with me so that you can practice your pronunciation. So, trabajar, enseñar, explicar, llegar, llevar, necesitar, hablar, preguntar, caminar, cantar, cenar, desear, dibujar, estudiar, bailar. So these are some really common AR verbs. I'm going to say them for you again and tell you what they mean. These are also in your textbook, and so you can look them up at any time that you would need to refer back. All right, trabajar is to work. Enseñar is to teach. Explicar it's a cognate, it looks like explain, it means to explain. Llegar is to arrive. Llevar is to carry. Necesitar is to need. Hablar is to talk or to speak. Preguntar is to ask a question. Caminar is to walk. Cantar is to sing. Cenar is to have dinner. Desear is to desire. Dibujar is to draw. Estudiar is to study. And bailar is to dance. Okay, so now that we know a couple of AR verbs, we're going to talk about how to conjugate them. And again, conjugate means to change a verb so that we know who is doing the action. All right, so let's first take a look at the structure of a verb. And we need to know this in order to be able to conjugate the verbs. So let's look at the verb hablar. And again, hablar means to talk or to speak. Verbs consist of two parts. The first part of the verb is called the root or the stem. And this is where we get the meaning of the verb, what it really means, the actual action. So again, the root or the stem is the meaning of the verb. It's the action. The other part of the verb is the ending. The ending tells us who does the action. So we have what the action is and who does the action. So these are the two parts that make up an infinitive verb. So in order to change a verb so that we know who is doing the action, we just follow this step. Start with your infinitive verb. You're going to remove the AR ending. You're going to remove the infinitive ending. And now we're going to replace it with endings that correspond to whoever is doing the action. So, we have our stem, we've removed the AR. If I, yo, am doing the action, I'm going to drop the AR and replace it with an O. So now my word is hablo. If tú, you are doing the action, you're going to drop the AR and replace it with as. So now our word is hablas. If he, she, or usted is doing the action, drop the AR and add a. So now our verb is habla. If we are doing the action, drop the AR. And add amos, hablamos. If you all in Spain, vosotros, are doing the action, we're going to drop the AR. And add ais, hablais. And if they, male, they, female, and you all, ustedes, are doing the action, drop the AR and add an. So our verb is now going to be hablan. All right, so again, to conjugate a verb means to change a verb so that we know who is doing the action. If I am doing the action, yo, I'm going to drop the AR and add an O. So now my verb is hablo, which means I speak. See? So again, the ending tells us who is doing the action. So the O ending only corresponds to the yo, the I person. As always refers to tú. So we know who's doing the action based on the ending of the verb. Okay, clase, so that's a quick grammar tutorial for AR verbs. Watch for more videos to follow and more explanations. Gracias!